Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of A Little with Jude podcast. It's your host Jude, as always. First off, I apologize. This episode was meant to have dropped since last week, but I had a hard time deciding what to release. I went through so many different variations of this, so please bear with me. Now, I've come to terms, or I have been coming to terms recently with the fact that I am not a perfectionist. I always used to think I was a perfectionist, but it turns out a lot of the things I mistook for perfectionism were actually just manifestations of my fear. Fear of letting people down, fear of disappointing. I will say I've always been extra careful about the things I do. Like in school, I was a good student all through from the beginning to the end. In primary school, I was always the best, consistently the best. Secondary school, obviously, I met people smarter than me, so I was among the best, yes. Same thing happened in uni, people way smarter, way more hardworking than me. And I feel like university was my first inkling that I was not a perfectionist. Now, like I said, I was a good student from the start, so people had expectations from me, right from the start. Teachers, parents, extended family members, other people's parents. It's we believe in you, this girl, you're bright, you're intelligent, you're going to go far, you're going to make us proud, you're going to stand out. Which is generally a good thing, but on the other hand, it kind of puts pressure on people from an early age. My fellow quote-unquote bright students bright children can relate to that. It's everybody just expects you to act a certain way. And with the, again, quote-unquote poor students or, bad children or special cases, they don't have those kind of expectations on them. Everybody's too busy trying to just cope with their stuff that nobody's putting pressure on them to be the best or to do better. It's nobody expects anything. So in a sense, they're kind of free. Now, I will say I don't know if I can say naturally, but the way I was raised, my parents are people who have very high standards for themselves. And so I kind of just took that on. I have high standards for myself. I like to do everything well. I like to do my work well. I like to deliver to the best of my abilities. That's not what I'm talking about when I'm saying signs of perfectionism. I also noticed over the years that I had this tendency to over-obsess over the tiniest details, fuss over things that do not seem to be going right. And it may just look this girl just always strives to be perfect. This girl always strives to. But I realized that a lot of times I wasn't asking myself, is this thing perfect or is this thing good enough? I was asking myself, will so and so person be satisfied with this? Will so and so person like this? It was low-key becoming more about people, more about how people would feel about something I had written or something I had drawn or made or my result or something. It's now I believe in academic validation. I do academic validation. I love the feeling. It makes my head swell. Yes. But on the other hand, I noticed that a lot of times after I got my results back, I wasn't just thinking in terms of, did I do well enough in this course? Is it good enough to boost my CGPA? I was also thinking, especially for lecturers that I happen to have a pretty good enough relationship with, is would this person be disappointed in my results? I don't know why. I just used to think like that. I know from an early age, I started this thing where I used to gauge adults' facial expressions, the tone of their voice whenever I'm around them, because that was, for me, that was the indicator of how they feel about me. And I used to be so super obsessing over every single inflection in voice, because I would walk away thinking, does this person like me? And I'm talking about grown-ups as a child. Does this grown-up like me? Does this one like me? There are still people that I remember having the memory that, this person doesn't really like me. This person likes me. This person doesn't like me. And I don't even know why I was thinking of such things as a child. But I grew up with the traits through secondary school, through university. I just noticed that a lot of times I wasn't as result focused as I could have been, and I was finding myself being more of people focused, almost a people pleaser, if you will. I had this whole aversion, dread of disappointing people. Like, I remember in secondary school, like whenever I used to have any issue with any staff for any reason, it's like I would be so worried, not just about being punished or flogged, but I'd be worried about the image of me in this person's head. Would they walk away thinking this girl is actually bad or rude or selfish or something? And worse, would they tell other staff about it, and would the collective staff body be disappointed in me? Now, I would say this also kind of transcended into my coding, my writing, almost every endeavor I've gotten into. Before I finally push something, like push an update when I was working on coding, before I would finally push an update, I'll be having so many second thoughts, like, is this thing good enough? Is this thing good enough? I could have followed the whole requirements completely and given the expected outcome, but I would still be worrying, is this thing going to be good enough for this person? Would this person see it and think she doesn't know what she's doing? Stuff like that. Same goes for my writing. Same goes for my Instagram feed. It's like I used to be so worried about what people think. So I'm not a perfectionist. Like normally I'd like to, not in every aspect, but it's like in things like my writing, my photography, just my normal, my art, I would say, I should be okay with just expressing what I have to express. But I find that sometimes I'm too busy worrying about how people will receive it, that in fact I'm slow to start. Other times I don't even start at all. Now, these are not traits of perfectionism. I think perfectionists are people that put in the work because they know what they want to get done. But on the other hand, there is me, because I'm still working on it, that knows what she wants to get done, but can't bring herself to put in the work because she's too busy being worried about not doing a good enough job and people being displeased by it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's more like my perfectionism is not results driven. It was more of people driven. I think I said that before. Like the energy I spend sometimes just worrying about how people will receive my art, how people will read my writing, how people will view my outfit is, in fact, it's insane. It's insane. It's almost like I'm investing too much time. I'm not doing this because I'm worried about how good it will come off or how much it meets my personal standard, but it's kind of about what people would think. And that is a weakness, I'll be the first to admit. But I also kind of understand where it stems from. Now, I don't blame anybody. I don't blame my parents. I don't blame my teachers for having expectations from me. In fact, I thank God that I was a bright child. I thank God that I was intelligent and I did well enough to impress people and have them expect things from me. But on the other hand, I feel like this fear of disappointing people kind of developed from that. I'm not a psychologist or a professional therapist, counselor, whatever, but I can kind of trace it back in a way. That feeling of, oh, these people expect so much from me, I cannot let them down. Instead, I have to constantly be doing well, constantly be doing better if possible. Aha. So yes, I would definitely say I'm figuring it out now. I don't think I can explain this any further, but it's just, I feel like a lot more people have actually similar experiences. A lot of people that think they are perfectionists. Like, I'm not saying perfectionists don't exist. I mean, there's literally a word for it. So of course they are real. And like I said before, I've never studied the psychology of it. So I actually don't know if all perfectionism stems from something like this. But I can confirm that I'm not a perfectionist. I just struggle with fear of disappointing people, fear of displeasing people, and I'm working on it. I think that's always the most important part after identifying a problem, is working on it. So yeah. Actually, this incident happened in my family some years ago between myself and an older family member, an aunt actually. We sort of had like a business thing, and well, things went sideways. I defended myself, I stood up for myself, and My fellow African and Nigerian children know that that is equivalent to being rude. So people were disappointed, people were surprised by my behavior. I'm talking extended family members, please. Like, many people were let down and all of that. And I struggled with that for a while, but honestly, I just got over it. Because I don't know, like I said, I was defending myself. I was standing up for myself in a situation that was unfair to me. And if that is the kind of thing that would disappoint people, well, obviously, I mean, lots of people say you can't please everybody. I've always known that. But it's like, that was a moment of realization for me that I actually cannot please everybody. A lot of times you would have to hurt yourself to try to please everybody. So yes, I think after that moment, it was a major wake-up call for me about this whole thing about disappointing people. I mean, if I've disappointed my extended family, who can I not disappoint? Now, I don't say that to mean like, oh, I go about actively disappointing people, but it has just made it easier for me. If I have to choose between myself and doing what is right by God first, by my family, I'm talking my father, mother, sister, those are the most important people to me, and myself. If I'm doing what is right by any of those people in that order, God, family, myself, then it's okay to disappoint anybody else. That's just my conviction. So, no, I am not completely over my false perfectionism. I still hate the idea of disappointing people. In fact, there was this course I took in final year and I really liked the lecturer. I used to be like active in his class. And I didn't do as well as I wanted to do in the course. And till today, I still kind of feel like, God, when that man was going through the results, did he see my own and kind of feel disappointed? Like, this girl, I expected better from her. And that thing still haunts me. But it is what it is. I saw these quotes because I'm always going to share random quotes. Yeah, the quotes that actually inspired me to go through this episode. Like I said, I had been running through different variations of it. But I finally decided, it says, now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. Something like that. I think it was from East of Eden. I can't remember the author, but it's from East of Eden, which is a novel I have not read, but it's definitely on my list. And yeah, I think that quote just about sums it up. When you're too busy chasing being perfect, especially if it's for other people, you don't have time to breathe. You don't have time to just be good for yourself. So I'm in a phase where I'm learning to navigate between trying to be the best I can be, but also just letting myself relax. And a friend of mine actually sent me another quote like that, but this was months ago. I don't remember it exactly. It's something about destroy your reputation so that you can live freely, something like that. Obviously, I'm not going to destroy my reputation and I'm not going to encourage anybody to destroy theirs. But the whole point of it is what I said before, that people with bad reps kind of have a freedom to almost do whatever. And in a sense, it's almost unfair to those of us with good reputations, those of us with good standards, not because we want a pass to do the wrong things or to mess up, but because sometimes I think we deserve to live under less scrutiny, less pressure. So this is a friendly reminder to anybody who feels pressure to always be the gold standard, feels pressure to always be performing at their best for other people. Focus on you. Sometimes take a break, focus on yourself. Allow yourself to stumble sometimes, allow yourself to be less than perfect sometimes, because, I mean, what even is perfect? That brings me to the end of today's episode. The moral lesson is, maybe somebody listening to me is not a perfectionist either. This is your sign to check yourself. Check yourself, do right by yourself. That's ultimately the most important thing. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. This is like the 100th take I'm recording. I'm joking, this isn't the 100th take. This is like the 3rd or 4th take this night. But like, I'm glad this one finally sounds good enough. Like I said, I'm going to try to take off the pressure on myself and just create. So this is me just creating. If this episode sounds weird, forgive me. I'm in my just creating phase. Thank you guys for listening. I hope this episode resonated with you. And Please stay tuned for the next episode. I'm really trying, guys. I promise I'm going to be more consistent. I know I keep saying that, but I mean it. I'm actually trying. Have a great day. Have a great week. Happy Tuesday. Bye.